You already know.
One time I did talk, it turned into a movie.
742 TV, man, how much it's a podcast. Back here with another one.
That shit loud.
Rappers Young Thug and Gunna and a list of co-defendants all learned today they will remain in jail. They appeared in court following their recent arrest as part of a lengthy indictment connected to alleged gang crimes. Joe Hinkie in the courtroom this morning. And Joe, while rapper Gunna was denied bond, a decision on whether Young Thug will receive bond was delayed here.
Well, that's right, Jennifer. Prosecutors are objecting to Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug's attorney representing him, saying there's a conflict of interest. Until that issue is resolved, the judge said he won't decide if Young Thug gets bond.
In fact, a danger to others and a danger to the community. Given what's been proffered thus far, I'm going to set him for no bond at this point in time.
That is how Fulton County Judge Earl Glanville described and denied bond for defendant after defendant named in this recent indictment against rappers Young Thug, Gunna, and more than 20 other defendants. Each are accused of being members or associates of the Young Slime Life or YSL gang. Several defendants are charged with murder and violent assaults. Prosecutors today argued Young Thug and Sergio Kitchens, a.k.a. Gunna, who are not charged with violent crimes, should be denied bond for being shot callers in the YSL gang.
They are dangerous. They've got their troops. They direct their troops into combat. They're not the ones that fire the bullets. They keep their hands a little bit more clean.
Gunna's attorney argued he is not a danger and offered that he receive a $750,000 bond, be placed on house arrest with electronic monitoring, have his phone calls recorded, and restrict who he can communicate with, plus forfeit 3 of his homes and his parents' homes if he violates his bond.
Those are as stringent a conditions, I believe, as any court in Fulton County has ever imposed.
The judge, though, did not sign off on the offer and denied bond. The decision left family members of the rapper in tears. Any ruling on bond for Young Thug won't come until next month, after prosecutors objected to his attorney, Brian Steele, representing him, arguing he previously represented another defendant in this case. Steele disagreed.
And it's all in public record, Your Honor. I never was paid a nickel. I don't have an open file on Mr. Arnold. I never defended him.
Young Thug's father says he will be at his son's next hearing, where he hopes bond will be granted.
You know, they're going to present, we're going to present, and, you know, we hope when we roll the dice, you know, everybody come out a winner.
And the judge today set a hearing for June 2nd, where you will hear arguments first on the conflict of interest issue and then potentially bond for Young Thug. All other defendants denied bond today had their trial scheduled for January.
All right. Let's move on to position number 5, and that's State of Georgia versus Jeffrey Williams. All right, let's see if I can find Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, I believe he's on, I believe he's in Cobb. Let's see. Say again? He's got his hand raised. Yes. All right. Mr. Mana, can you unmute? There we go. Thank you very much. All right. Okay, Mr. Adams, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Judge.
All right, Mr. Adams, is it you and Mr. Steele, or is it, I see Mr. Steele over there, so is it you and he that are representing Mr. Williams?
That's true, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Mr. Geary Rose, something you want to tell me?
Yes, sir. We filed a conflict notice on Mr. Steele as well.
Okay.
Mr. Steele is representing multiple of these defendants, and we filed a conflict notice on that as well, Judge.
All right. I probably need to hear the motion then. Okay. Mr. Steele, I take it you have not filed a response to that particular motion, you nor your co-counsel, Mr. Adams?
And good morning, sir. That is not accurate. I did file a reply, and it was emailed to your Honorable Court's co-worker yesterday, as well as the Honorable District Attorney. There are waivers attached to that, and the law mandates that the hearing go forward today. That's under Clause C-L-O-U-G-H versus Rickles, R-I-C-H-E-L-O. It's 274 Georgia Appeal 129. It's a 2005 case, and preliminary matters shall not be affected by a pending motion to disqualify counsel. The prosecution, in their motion to have me disqualified, wrote that there is no actual conflict in their own motions at page 11. So this is all just potential in the future. There is absolutely no reason that I should be, in my opinion. I laid out all of the law for this honorable court's review, and their motion should not even have a hearing. If you want to hear it, obviously, I will be here, but we would like to go forward. With that said, I would need a couple minutes. I did not realize that your honorable court had an order that we could not bring in our electronics, so I have my iPad and my electronics outside. So I apologize, but I'm not. I would just need to get those out.
Sure. Okay. I can give you a few minutes to get those together. All right, Mr. Geary, given the fact there are waivers that are attached, does that change the state's position on that, or do you?
No, Your Honor. I was unaware that there's no actual in there, and I take counsel's word for that. I believe there actually is an actual conflict. One of the other defendants listed, I believe it's, correct me, Mr. Arnold, the police officer indicated in the report, and I have spoken to the police officer since, as of just last week, is Mr. Steele called the officer and admitted that Mr. Arnold did in fact commit the offense. Now, I know I've spoken with Mr. Steele, and he said that never happened. All I know is I wasn't there. The officer said it did, and it's in the report, and Mr. Steele said it didn't. I believe that rises to a level, and that was confirmed, Judge, after the motion, our motion was filed. But I believe that would rise to the level of an actual conflict. I would say as a compromise, given until we settle that, given they've got two counsel here, I would have no objection if Mr. Adams went forward right now, and I think that would be a resolution that we could try to move forward on this.
Okay. Is that acceptable, Mr. Steele?
I appreciate the honorable district attorney, but that's not acceptable.
Okay,
And
then I'm going to have to take it off and put it on for a count.
Can I
put it on?
May
Okay.
I just finish? I know you're
Yeah.
busy, but may I just educate the court? And I know it's not the district attorney's office doing, but there is a line in a witness statement when somebody originally gets arrested. In the complaint room, there's a witness statement, and it does not exactly say that I made a confession on behalf of Mr. Arnold. In fact, I will tell the court I have never, ever made a confession on behalf of
But I need to hear that, Mr. Steele. I don't have any issue with either the the disqualification, but I got to hear it. Today's not the day.
May I just finish and tell you this?
Okay.
When you look at, the prosecution attached one page. So I got the entire file. It's on your Odyssey. And when you look at the reports, there is nothing about a confession. That is a total, and I'm not saying the police officer did it on purpose, that's a total misstatement. In fact, it alleges in the reports exactly what I did. I received a call to find out whether there's a warrant for Mr. Arnold. I went to the police department. They would not, in those days, it was 2014, email it to me. I found there was a warrant, and I told Mr. Arnold, and he turned himself in. That's in the reports that the prosecution did not make mention of. I am not on the state's witness list when this case was brought and indicted against Mr. Arnold. And I could never be a material witness because Mr. Arnold pled guilty. So you have to be a material witness. It has to be on an issue that's in controversy. A guilty plea is the confession of the person. With all that being said, I never represent Mr. Arnold. I did a courtesy to the police and Mr. Arnold. There is no confession, and this is specious reason to do it. And it's all in public record, Your Honor. I never was paid a nickel. I don't have an open file on Mr. Arnold. I never defended him. I did a favor when I was asked whether there was an arrest warrant for Mr. Arnold because he wanted to be lawful and turned himself in. So I'd like to go forward.
Okay, all right. I still need to hear it. I think in terms of just the motion and the response to it, and since it wasn't calendared for today, I mean, the only thing I have is arraignment and bond. So I don't mind a short turnaround for me to be able to do that, but I need to resolve that issue first.
Can I ask you a question? I'll step back.
Sure.
Because I have to get my computer anyway.
Yeah, you
When would
can.
this short turnaround be? Can you just give us an idea?
I'll have to check with Mr. Chamberlain. Mr. Chamberlain, we'll work on that. It'll probably more than likely be via Zoom. I'll need to, maybe by the time that I'm finished with everyone, I should be able to let you know something.
Then can we just step back until that time?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right. I'm going to hold on position number 5, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I want to circle back up to the beginning of the calendar. Okay, Mr. Steele and Mr. Adams, we take a look at our calendar, and with Mr. Chamberlain's assistance, I'll go ahead and set your matter for the matter on the disqualification for 2 June. That's the soonest that I have via Zoom, and we can take up that at that morning, along with your issue of bond at that point in time, should it be appropriate, depending on how I rule. Okay. Did I address you, Mr. Sharp? Did I tell Mr. Sharp get up? Okay, okay. Just give me a second. Being eager. Okay, I'll just a sec. All right. But does that work for you, sir?
Yes. Do you know what time?
It'll be 9 o'clock via Zoom. Now, Mr. Sharp, for your client as well, I will set that. Mr. Stillwell, on your conflict motion, same date. On the 2nd of June at 9 a.m. Okay, and I think that those were the 2 that we had for conflicts. And gentlemen, I appreciate your patience. That is the soonest that I have that I can give you, but I can give you the opportunity to be heard on that particular, on those 2 particular issues at that time. Okay, what else was I gonna do? Let's see. Mr. Williams, we're gonna, let's see who Mr. Williams, what position, let's see. I say again? Thank you, I appreciate it. Hang tight. Okay. All right, Mr. Williams, your lawyer is gonna talk with you in offline in a minute. Mr. Steele, unfortunately, this is what I said, I couldn't allow you to kind of do this because of this. Just the scheduling and schematic of us being able to do this, because I do need to get the other folks from that other person at least brought out, okay?
Of course.
Okay, all right. Unless you have anything else, I'll see you and your colleague on the 2nd of June then, okay, at 9 o'clock?
I just wanted to, earlier, Your Honorable Court said that you would potentially hear bond today.
No.
Or put it off.
I'm gonna put off both those until the 2nd of June. Okay. I need to resolve the issue of your, of the conflict first, since both of you are not agreeable to that particular arrangement. So of having your colleague hear the bond. So I think the state's objecting to that as well. So I need to hear the predicate and rule on that issue to begin with, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, all right.
Good morning, Your Honor. Spanish interpreter is present.
Madam, I can.
In DeKalb County in as count 20 or 22. I can't do that because we don't have venue under the Georgia Constitution. I do under RICO. So it is in RICO. Judge, he is indicted, if you will, in count 1 with Mr. Williams for having a stolen weapon, and I believe it's 4 counts of different drugs for possession with intent. And that is a pending case out of DeKalb County that they are on bond for. Okay? As to the predicates or the overts, he has 4 predicates, and those encompass that case in DeKalb. The other event Mr. Sadow spoke of, Judge, Mr. Sadow referenced that Mr. Kitchens is a rap star. I believe Mr. Williams is as well. In the songs they sing, they talk about being followed in their gang persona.
How am I thinking the podcast? I'm Service on TV. Thank you for watching.